Making Christmas candy dishes in August? Why not? Hey, welcome back to the shop, everybody. Today I'm doing something a little bit unusual. We're going to be using some resin, some deep pour resin today, and we're going to be using a silicone mold, like so, to make a bowl or a dish. This is actually going to be a candy dish, and it's very festive. It's a Christmas candy dish. This is probably one of the more basic resin projects that you can do, and I thought you might be intrigued by it. So I'm going to walk you through every step. Super easy, a lot of fun. I sell a surprising amount of these. Who knew? But here we are. So let's get started. I took the candy out of its wrappers and I laid them all out. I had 6 that were broken. I have 90 that are good. This is the brand that I used. I got it off of Amazon. I'll leave you a link in the show notes as usual. Um, Normally, I get purple along with this. They didn't do a great job with mixing the colors. Pretty heavy on the orange, but we're going to go for it anyway. I'm going to go ahead and spray this out with a clear satin finish, and that's just to protect the colors from bleaching over time. So normally I would do this outside, but it doesn't make for good photography. So I'm just going to lightly spray all this stuff, and I'm going to do the front and back. It takes about 15 minutes for it to dry. So just consider this will be all done, and we'll go ahead and start working with the mold. The candies are all painted out, and now I've got my handy dandy mold here. It's been wiped out. It's pretty easy to do. You can turn this flange inside out. I've got my cheat sheet, 34 candies per bowl and 8 ounces of resin. And what I'm going to do is just mix in these candies so that they're spaced out nicely and that I'm following kind of a pattern. I don't want it to have all orange on one side. That would look pretty ugly. Okay, so I'm just going to keep repeating. And this actually double stacks, which is kind of cool. You'll see it'll have 2 layers of candies. And I'm simply pushing it all the way to the bottom. And they're not touching. I want the resin to be able to go around them. And I'll just kind of fine tune as I go. So that was a little too close. Everything else looks good. Okay, so off camera, I'm going to go ahead and finish these 2 bowls. And I'll bring you back and we'll mix some resin. Okay, so I've got my deep pour resin, and there's a ratio to pour this in. This is a 2 to 1, so it's 2A to 1B. So I'm going to over pour a little bit. Let's see. What I'm going to do is pour a total of 9 ounces. I only need 8, but I'd rather have a little extra than not enough. The size of the candies can vary. You just never know. And the reason I'm doing deep pour is I want a slow curing time so these bubbles will find their way out. Now there's another way to do this. I could go ahead and put this in a vacuum pot, which I have, and that's handy. But in this case, I'm not going to. Okay, I've got a little paddle mixer, got it at the big box store, and then put it on lower speed. I'm just going to mix this stuff up. Okay, I'll come back to you after this is all mixed, show you what we're going to do next. Well, the resin's been mixed. You can see a few bubbles in there, and being that it is deep pour, a very slow curing resin, it would clear on its own. But I'm going to show you another trick. So I've got this vacuum pot, and it works incredibly well. It sucks out all the air, and in doing so, it also removes most of those bubbles. And this will run for maybe 3-4 minutes. We'll put it on vacuum. And if you're going to be doing what I do, making money selling these things, For any of your resin projects, I'd highly recommend it. I've got that in the show notes, but it's a pretty minimal investment of about $140 or so. So it's going to slowly come into a deep vacuum, and we'll get it down about 27 or so, and I'll just let it run for that 3 or 4 minutes and we'll call it done. So check this out. You can see the resin just kind of boiling, and that's just those bubbles that are coming to the surface and popping. Really works well. So check out how clear this is. It's really, really nice. So now I'm just going to go ahead and pour this in. I need to pour kind of slowly, work my way around the edges. If I pour too fast, it's going to overflow. All right. So again, this is a super easy project. People seem to love them. Now, being that it's a deep pour resin, it's going to take a couple, 2-3 days for this to fully cure. So I'm just going to leave it inside the mold until it's all done. All right. We'll come back in a couple days when I demold this. Well, one last thought. I wanted to show you how to pop bubbles. They are coming to the surface, and it's inevitable. You know, you're going to have some because you have little air pockets that would have happened during the pour. So you take yourself a torch like this and just run quickly over the surface, and you'll pop those bubbles without any problem. Again, this should clear pretty much on its own, but it's a good tool to have. All right, it's been 3 days. This has cured nicely. Now check out the bottom. You can see how glossy it is, no imperfections. So we did a good job with that. I didn't mention before, but I should mention it now. Normally with silicone molds, you use a spray release, but with this kind of a project, you don't. And the reason being is that when you spray mold release, it creates kind of a stippled effect almost. It takes your finish from a glossy finish to a matte finish. So you just know that these molds are disposable after a period of time. I've probably done maybe 10, 12 of these dishes, and I'm still on the same mold. So it's lasted a long time. They're inexpensive. It's like, I don't know, 15 bucks. So not a bad deal. Okay, let's pan down. I'm going to show you how to get this out. It's a little tricky, but we're going to get it done. Well, the first thing that we want to do is go ahead and kind of break the bead, and you can see how it just pops up pretty easily, like so. And once we have that done, then we can flip it and kind of work our way, just folding back, like I said, just folding it back. Little finesse. Takes a little bit of effort. Okay. So I did get a few bubbles on the very bottom where I couldn't torch, but not bad. Okay, this is good. All right, now let's get this bad boy out. You could always use some high pressure air too. Here we go. Voila. We have a candy dish. It's pretty cool. I'm happy with the way it turned out, and I think my customer will be as well. So the bottom, got that little ledge, which is where the mold was. It's got a little sharp spot. So all I'm going to do is take some, probably 180 grit, and just very carefully take off this little sharp edge and not scuff up the rest of the bowl, and that way it doesn't scratch any furniture. So that was a fun and easy project. It's profitable. There's only a few dollars into that project. So something that you want to do, in the show notes, I'm going to put the deep epoxy or deep pour resin. I'll put the silicone mold, and I'll include the candies that I used. I bought all that from Amazon. So it'll be easy if you want to replicate that. But until the next video, I just want to say thank you so much for following along. I greatly appreciate it. If you aren't subscribing already, hit subscribe, hit the bell. You get all my notifications, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much.